welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new, hi, my name is Alyssa, and if you are not new, welcome back. So if you are new to my channel or you have seen some of my older videos, you probably know that I started off my YouTube channel mainly with urban legends because that is kind of where my interest lies a lot when it comes to like paranormal and supernatural stuff. So I noticed that I haven't done any of those in a little while, so I was like, you know what, let me sit down and think about urban legends that I can make videos on. And then I was like, maybe I should do like different places. Oh my, what I wanted to do was I wanted to do like an urban legend that many different countries had their own stories based on, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, mermaids. So here we are, and I'm going to be talking about the urban legend of the mermaid. It's really interesting how different a legend can be when it originates from a different country and a different culture and everything like that. The drawings and everything like that is also very different and unique, and the interpretation of the legend, it's just, to me, that's really interesting. That's why I wanted to initially make like a playlist and talk about all the different ones of different countries, not specifically one that they all shared, but I realized that mermaids is one of the most common thing, especially like vampires. So if you guys want me to do like one on vampires, because I was actually curious about doing that, because that's another thing that I was kind of like interested in, you know. For me, I feel like when I have like a phase on something, I do way too much research on it. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, make sure you leave a thumbs up, and if you like these kind of videos, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I think you guys will probably like this video based off of mermaids, even if you're not into the whole like mermaid thing. I'm not, but I think when you look at like the history behind it and you see, okay, maybe there is a reason why so many people around the world, especially in like Western culture and whatever, have taken this and put it in movies and videos and stuff like that. Like, that originates from somewhere, and when you actually look at the history behind it, there's a lot more sense into it, and you kind of think, okay, maybe it's not so ridiculous. So yeah. So the first urban legend is something that's very different than what is commonly portrayed in Western films about mermaids, H2O, you know, all that shit that I'm talking about. It's more of actually like a fish, if I'm being honest with you. So this legend originates from Japan and is called the Ningyo, I believe. So the Ningyo is pretty much described as a huge creature who has the tail of like a giant fish, looks mainly like a fish, has a mouth of a monkey, and has a face of a human. Another interesting thing that was mentioned is that apparently sometimes it can have horns or fangs, like that of a vampire, or that of, I don't know if you guys have seen this show. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see some episodes of it. It's a show, I think it's on Hulu, I don't even know, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's called Siren, and the mermaid in the show is like very terrifying looking, but a lot of mermaids that I've seen on some like Pirates of the Caribbean even, they commonly have fangs, so it's interesting because some of them are a little accurate. I don't know about accuracy, but it's interesting how like the Western interpretations have a little bit of what is commonly seen in different cultures. So maybe they're not 100% inaccurate, but I feel like they are kind of glamorized maybe. Another interesting thing about the Ningyo is that apparently if someone is to catch and actually eat it, they would be granted eternal youth and beauty, and you know, everyone wants that. But catching this fish can actually lead to destruction of a village or really bad storms and stuff like that. So, do you really want that? The Ningyo is one of the main legends that I've known of, like when researching, but this one here is actually from Scotland and Orkney Islands, and it's called the Selkie. So the difference between the Selkie and an actual mermaid would be that Selkies are half seal, half human, whereas mermaids are half seal, half fish. So there is a bit of a difference, but the reason that they're commonly associated with mermaids is because apparently in Gaelic stories, I believe is how you say it, they're commonly known as maids of the sea, or Mamiwata is how you spell it. I mean, how you say it. So I'm gonna put the spelling right here, so then if any of you guys are actually Scottish, that would be pretty cool. Or Gaelic, you know how to say it, maybe. An interesting fact about the Selkie legend is that they are commonly known to come onto land, shed their skin, and then someone would steal their skin, or their skin would get stolen, and then they would have to stay on land and create a family with another human as their form. And obviously, after having children and getting married, Selkies will be called back to the sea. This was said to be a tragic legend, but I don't really get how that's tragic. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. This legend here I found really interesting. So I don't know how much you guys know about urban legends, but I find that African urban legends and like Brazilian urban legends, are like the South American portion and African and South American portion, they're really interesting to me because there was a show that I used to watch. I still kind of watch it sometimes with my dad, but it's called River Monsters. And I don't know if you guys have watched it. Forgot, I think the guy's name is Richard Wayne or something like that. I don't know. Richard Wade? Something Wade. Forgot what his first name was. But it's a really good show. He pretty much would go to many different places where there was some kind of urban legend about a fish killing people, or where people were killed by something in the water, and he would try to fish it and find it and see what the hell it was. And to kind of solve these cases, not necessarily cases, but like to figure out what the hell killed people. And there was this one, there was a couple actually where he went and visited like witch doctors and stuff in Africa, which I think is really interesting. I don't know how big into like voodoo and stuff they are there, or in certain parts at least. But I think that they are, which is that's really interesting. So I'm gonna try to learn a little bit more about that because I like that kind of stuff. I think it's cool. So yeah. So this urban legend is called Mamiwata, and it translates to water spirit. So Mamiwata, or water spirit, is very commonly associated or described as a mermaid or a snake charmer, and sometimes both. So the legend of Mamiwata is known commonly in African folklore stories to have come to the Americas during the Atlantic slave trade. A couple images that I had seen of her, she was holding snakes, so I believe that's kind of what she would look like. I'm not entirely sure. There's nothing that I could find describing her specific look, but although sometimes she can take the form of a human, she is never fully human, and she is closely associated with healing, fertility, and sex. I think that the depictions of her are very beautiful, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what she looks like, but that is pretty much what I found. The next legend is from Brazil, and it's called Iara. So the idea of mermaids in Brazil comes from the tale of Iara, the Lady of the Waters. Iara was originally known as a water snake, but through folklore became an immortal woman with green eyes and brown skin, who was known to lure sailors to her underwater palace, where they became her lovers. She's having fun down there. Iara is blamed for many accidents in the Amazon, especially where men disappear. Maybe they just disappeared. Maybe they fell in the water and they got drunk. Is the Amazon water, or is it like a swamp situation? That's what I've always wondered, because... Okay, anyways. Like mentioned before, I feel like a lot of like movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, they took that from this legend and they put that into their movie, and how the mermaids acted. I feel like it could also be hallucinations, maybe, but I don't know. So It's called Marrow. I think this is the most commonly known one, if I'm being honest. This sounds a lot more realistic than, not realistic, but this is a more familiar sounding legend, if I'm being honest with you. And this is one of my favorite, actually. A magical cap called a choline druid, I hope I'm saying that right, enables marrows to live underwater. Female marrows with their long green hair are similar to traditional sirens, like I mentioned. The beautiful half-human, half-fish of mythology. Male marrows, however, are considered hideous and frightening morphic. So marrows, male marrows are actually more fish than they are men. So that's a little scary looking. Male marrows are also very known to be cruel. So cruel that women were said to have often had relationships with human men. Their offspring might have scales and webbing between their fingers, which is another very commonly associated thing with sirens. Marrows frequently become tired of the land and try to return to sea with or without their human family. So yeah, I feel like that's a very common thing to how Western society kind of depicts mermaids, so I think that one's a little bit more familiar to people, but I like that one. I don't know. I really like this one too. This is from Russia. It's called Rusalka. So the Rusalka, often translated as mermaid, these water nymphs of Slavic myth were originally considered benevolent, I think. I'm still learning how to fucking say that. Because they came out of water in the spring to water crops. But mythology also has a darker side, like I mentioned. Rusalka are thought to be spirits of girls who died violently, and thus they frequently lure men and children to their own watery deaths. Their translucent skin gives them a ghost-like appearance, and they'll sometimes use their long hair to trap and entangle their victims. Ooh. I think that's kind of sad, but I like the darker ones because they make it a little bit scarier. I don't know. I feel like that's bad to say. And the final urban legend is from Norway and Orkney Islands. Didn't I do this one already? Oh no, I didn't. Also, I'm sorry if the zooming in is weird. I'm trying to fix it, but anyways, probably the least like a traditional version of a mermaid, Finn folk are shapeshifters of the sea. I think that's why I like this one. Considered nomads who can alternate between living on land and at their ancestral home, Finn folkim is how it's spelt, so I'm going to say it like that. Finfolk tend to have an antagonistic relationship with humans. They often abduct humans from their spouses, making them their more servant than partner. Oh my god. My spelling is so fucking bad, I can't even read it. Finfolk also have an affinity for silver. See, I thought that related to me because I really like silver over gold, but then I realized it meant that, yeah, anyways. And one might be able to escape their grasp by throwing a silver coin their way. Honestly, I just like how they all have their own little, spice to them, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like, it's the Norwegian one, the Brazilian one, the Irish one, and the Russian one. Those are my favorite ones, so. Anyways, guys, if you liked today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content from yours truly, make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day or night or whatever time of day it is for you guys.